Good evening. It's approximately 6:35. I'm Todd Sievert. I'm chairman of the Finance Committee. To my right, March 13th. Thank you, Mr. Rozelle. And to my right is Councilman Bill Rozelle. To my left is Councilman Bobby Phillips. We are here today for a Finance Committee meeting to do the annual review of the Enterprise Zone Program and Troy Town Park TIF. I will turn it over to
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Titting.
The Tax Incentive Review Council is an Ohio statutory requirement for the city to offer incentives, including enterprise zone agreements, which deal with property tax abatements, as well as TIFs, which are tax increment financing districts. We have one TIF and we have 5 enterprise zone agreements, EZ agreements. The TIRC has to meet annually at the beginning of the year and file reports by the end of the first quarter to the state, just to show that they are monitoring compliance with the terms of those agreements. And so we see these every year. The TIRC has recommended the continuance of the Troy Town Park TIF agreement. That's the area that encompasses basically the Walmart, all of Town Park Drive, up to, and part of the area is the intersection of Experiment Farm and Main Street. So, and what it does is it moves taxes, incremental taxes. So the increased value of the improvements that are done after the city has bonded the project, which we did 20 years ago or more, to create that whole area and stimulate commercial growth, which I think it pretty well has and continues to do, and then moves those incremental taxes over into a special fund that are then used to pay off the bond, pay off the debt service, and it is doing that well. It is generating funds for future improvements. We have spent it on doing some safety improvements over the interchange bridge, and we are looking to use those funds in the next 3 years to improve the intersection of Experiment Farm and Main Street. So the TIRC reviewed that. That TIF is going very well, and they are recommending that we continue that. With regards to the 5 enterprise zone agreements, we have two EZs with Conagra Foods, both of which are performing. They're meeting their objectives, their goals. We have one with Clopay. They are within the grace period right now. This is the 4th year. Next year, they need to be up at the 100% goal, and so TIRC had no problem extending that, giving them another year. They're close. I mean, the employment goes up and down, but Clopay is either number 1 or number 2 most highest employers by employee in the city. And then we have a 5th one, and so those 4, we have 3 Conagra Food enterprise zone agreements plus the Clopay. Those 4 the TIRC is recommending as being in compliance with the terms of their enterprise zone agreements. The 5th one is Arc Abrasives. They are a little short. The TIRC, and they have been for the past couple of years. They're a smaller company and have struggled with trying to hire qualified employees. They are still diligently working on that. They've got 9 vacancies that they're filling right now, but they had not filled by the end of the year, so the report showed a deficit there. The TIRC is recommending that we continue them for another year, but that they need to meet their goals this year, or otherwise it's likely that the Turk will recommend not extending the enterprise zone agreement in 2024. And we are asking for emergency legislation, as we need to submit this report by the end of March, and we depend on the companies to give us that information, and sometimes it's not as timely as we'd like.
The Tax Incentive Review Council, can you just briefly, so people know, that's comprised of local citizens who review this, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And
I was on.
Okay.
It deals with a couple appointments. It's a school treasurer, I think JVS treasurer, and then the rest of them are appointed.
Appointed by the mayor.
Okay. Well, my point was that there's a group of citizens who review this on behalf of council to assure compliance.
That's correct. This is a volunteer board.
Yeah.
It's for us.
County auditor comes over and says, here's the information.
Mr. Rozelle, any further statements?
No, we only have the one TIF area right now, correct? I mean, even area that could have TIFs is the only one is out west.
We could create
other
TIFs,
but we
just
have
not.
yeah.
Right.
Mr. Phillips.
Thank you. At the end of 23, if the one business is not in compliance, what is the full procedure that Turk will have to undergo in notifying them that they're going to be responsible for all their future taxes and other things, that things are coming to a halt for as far as the agreement is concerned?
I'm not up to speed on exactly what, but there will be some notifications, and it's not just the Turk. The Turk recommends it to you. The council would have to make the decision ultimately once that happens, and this is all based on the reports that the company sends to us. So we're not assuming, we're not making any, there's no guesswork here. After that point, then we would consult with Mr. Kerber to make sure that we follow the correct process, and we would have to notify the county and the school board, and any other required agencies, I suppose, that this was happening.
Can you give an approximate percentage or total number of what the tax implications are for that company? Do you know what the percentage of the abatement is?
No, I don't have it in front of me, and they're all slightly different.
I mean, it's a very comfortable number.
Do you have that number?
It's usually 75%.
Okay, that's what I was thinking, yes.
And that's on the improved value, so it's not on all of their property tax, it's what they've added in value.
Correct, okay.
As a part of the project that they undertook in the first place.
Gotcha, thank you. Thanks, Tim.
Any other council members have anything? Mr. Whittam, Mr. Schilling, Mr. Phillips, Mr. Pierce, thank you. Any comments from staff? Any comments from Mr. Beringer, who's the only person who's chosen to attend us? How do you wish to proceed? Mr. Rozelle?
Move forward with the emergency.
Mr. Phillips?
I'm inclined to go along with the staff report and support that.
So unanimously, we will move forward with emergency legislation